So let me check if we have a recording. So, okay, so it was run. All right, hello everyone, good morning, and this is another episode of .NET Morning Coffee. As usual, today we will share some interesting news and updates from .NET and not only world. Yeah, so I guess we can make a start. So let's start from the following one. So Stack Overflow, actually, previously it was the most valuable software engineering resource. Now I think because a lot of people switched to AI, it's not as popular as it was before, but still it's very valuable. And every year they are doing a kind of developer survey where they are trying to understand all the like all the cutting edge technologies that are used, most valuable ones, most popular ones, all the directions that we have in the industry. And of course, this year, the survey is like full of AI insights. Some of them are quite interesting ones. So, folks, what would you highlight here? So it's a lot of information here, yeah. But what surprised you maybe?
I think the most interesting insight, it's not quite visible on this page, but it's number of respondents. It
Okay.
greatly decreased, and as far as I remember, it's even lower than first time they tried to conduct such survey. It means that usage of Stack Overflow
Is decreasing significantly, right?
Yeah, very significantly, and they're trying to kind of jump on the last wagon of AI hype. And this year they adjusted their survey questionnaire to have a lot of questions related to AI, and especially AI plus usage of Stack Overflow to make an impression that, yeah, Stack Overflow is still valuable, still in trend, and it's used together with UI, not replaced by AI.
Yeah, so we can see it's 49,000 responses they got this year. I do not remember what they had. So probably
Last
we
year
can
it was more than 60,000, if I'm not mistaken.
we can probably try to do it like that. Incorrect symbol. Okay. Okay, something like that. Yeah, so
65.
it's significant decrease. Significant decrease. Okay. Right. So this is obviously due to popularity of all these AI solutions. But
there
I
is
think...
a card.
Mhm.
Sorry, your screen a bit small than mine. Somewhere in the middle you'll find the card about Stack Overflow.
Okay.
Stack Overflow is becoming a new resource for developers that need to solve AI-related issues. Yeah, this is the interesting thing. Like in the past, we were using Stack Overflow to solve problems with the code. Now we use a kind of use AI to solve the problem with the code, but you still use Stack Overflow to solve problem with AI. That's the interesting.
Do you mean this one, developers at all
No.
levels?
You already scrolled down.
Okay.
I was
Just
looking
say
at my screen.
Okay.
Scroll down.
Okay. Positive sentiments. Python. Stack Overflow is destination.
Yeah.
This one? No?
No. Stack Overflow is becoming. Try to use Control F. It should be in this page.
Okay, big. Well, yeah.
Yes, this one.
So people, the primary source right now for developers is to ask something to AI. Yes, to ask the questions to AI. And then if they are not confident in the result, they are visiting Stack Overflow to validate the solution. So that's the trend this year. That's interesting. Okay, so maybe some insights from the technology landscape. So what do we have here? So, for example, this one, it's about programming languages. Yeah, so we can see here that Java and C# very close percentage here. The rest, like 4 or 5 or 6 languages, I would say what we can say about those.
It's across all respondents.
Exactly.
If you choose
Yeah.
professional developers, it will
Yes,
be different.
C#
It will be very
higher.
close. Switch
I suppose
tab.
C# should be higher for professional developers.
Sorry. Okay, so professional developers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 1-to-1 almost.
And those like 6 languages, I would say they are like cross-discipline languages, right? So usually people who use C# or Java in their day-to-day life, they are also using JavaScript, HTML, CSS. They have to write SQL script. Well, Python. It's interesting that Python is always like on the top of the popularity, but folks, do you know any large projects run on Python?
I don't.
Yeah, well, Python is definitely valuable because of its AI things and data processing things. But again, do we have a really large projects on Python?
It depends from question that they was asking during this survey. Because Python is, as you're aware, there's a heavily used scripting language. Maybe
That's right.
every
That's right,
developer from time to time is kind of touching where using Python for some automation or something. Like the next point, Bash and Shell. Do you know any big project on Bash and Shell?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what we can say from this from those results, yeah. So C# Java are kings of the enterprise development, software engineering, right? But maybe the Stack Overflow survey is not like doesn't reflect all the world. Maybe it's like it's a period that Stack Overflow is actively used by people who are programming on C# and Java. Well, I don't know.
These results are not specific enough and highly biased because top 6 represents most popular languages, not just across developers but across large language models, because it's easier for them to produce a lot of code using them, because there are a lot of examples. Their database is filled with such data, and they might produce much better and up-to-date code for JavaScript or TypeScript rather than for C# or Java.
Yeah.
And for Python, I think for them it makes sense to segregate Python as a backend development technology versus Python as data processing or AI development. It's 2 different areas and 2 different percents we will see, I believe.
For scripting code automation also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this one is also really interesting. This is about web frameworks, and what we can see here. We can see here ASP.NET Core on the 5th place, right? In the professional, among the professional developers, on same position among all responses. So what else do we see here? Node.js, React, jQuery. I'm surprised this is so popular. So
it's interesting
ASP.NET
that it's
Core,
more popular than Spring.
Yes.
And we don't see any other Java-based technologies out there. But for .NET, we still see ASP.NET.
What is Fast API?
And Blazor, even Blazor. Fast API, it's Python-based.
Python, thank you.
Okay. Is it fast?
Not really.
Okay.
It's as fast as Python.
Right. Okay. So definitely worth to investigate the results of this survey. Yeah, obviously the amount of responses.
Alexei, can I ask you to scroll down to ID? There is one interesting thing.
Sure. It's in technology, right? Still technology.
Yes.
1 sec. ID. Oh yeah, ID is definitely. It's
Look,
very interesting result.
Visual Studio Code, cool. It is in the first place with first place. So look in the third place and 4. That's the interesting. So Notepad and the IntelliJ IDEA almost on the same level.
Yeah.
That's the
How could it
I
be?
don't
So
understand how it
yeah,
can
how
happen.
could it be? So I have some doubts in the fairness of those results. Folks, yeah, I mean 26% use Notepad for development. So folks, please, if you use Notepad for your development, could you please put some messages into the chat and explain how are you using? So maybe it's just like opening a file instead of opening it in a Visual Studio, just quick editing and then that's it.
But
So it's not a real development. Maybe it's just one line fix.
it's not as real as Nana, because on the last line you see Nana. Do you know what is Nana?
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah, I do.
like
It's default Linux text
default.
editor
Yeah,
with very limited capabilities, but still it's higher than Rider.
Do we have this
Yeah,
Vim? Do we have Vim here? No.
should be. Hmm?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His place. It's hard to believe. Okay. It's interesting. So yeah.
Probably this year results are so biased that there are very few folks who use AI, but a lot of folks who are kind of anti-AI, like kind of hardcore old school programmers. That's why we see Notepad, Vim, Nana.
Yeah.
there.
Well, I know one person who he used before, maybe now it's somehow different. He used like just regular text editors for his development. He was a C++ developer and using IDEs in this area was not very popular thing. So, and but that's the only person I know who really used text editors for software development. Okay. Yeah, that's fun. So probably under those answers, people meant just really inline edits, one-line edits, but nothing more. Not a real development, I guess. Okay. This is Stack Overflow tags. Okay,
This
so
is very interesting because on fourth place we have .NET 8 plus.
yeah. Why exactly?
Very specific one.
Yeah. That's again interesting because it's the only framework, right, among all these answers. So, Tailwind CSS4, it's from JavaScript. The rest, it's a lot of things related to the AI, but .NET was very popular. So again, maybe Stack Overflow is not 100% relevant, and it's just appeared that a lot of .NET people historically used this resource, and now we see like .NET C# here on the higher positions, and for example Java. I don't know. So okay, any other insights from this that we would like to highlight? Maybe something from AI? No, nothing.
It's like, a lot of people use AI, but they don't trust it. Yeah, and
Okay, yeah.
I believe we see that, okay, something was created by AI, but after that you need to validate it and agree or or accept or reject the provided code or something else.
And it's not just that they don't trust, but year over year they trust less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh yes, wipe coding. Let's see what we have about wipe coding. It was somewhere here. Where it was? Okay. Currency. Sentiments. There was something about wipe coding. I would like to see. What was that?
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, this one. Okay. Are not wipe coding. So most of the respondents are not wipe coding. Okay. Again, so interesting to dive into all these statistics. They are still very valuable, and maybe if you take a look at this, you will find some interesting insights for yourself. Right, so let's move on then.
Yeah.
Okay, so .NET 10 Preview 6. If we take a look at the changelog, we wouldn't find a lot of exciting things and new capabilities. That probably means it is going to the stabilization phase, and the engineering team will be focused mostly on the quality and just fixing and tuning the existing features that were already presented. So just minor changes in the libraries, in the way how runtime behaves.
But we still have some nice improvements like DNX tool
Yeah,
in SDK.
SDK probably got the major updates in this preview. So what do we have? Let's see. So first of all, we got platform-specific .NET tools. So for example, you might have a situation where you need to do something specifically on a particular operational system, and we have this .NET Tools ecosystem, and it will be, starting from .NET 10, it will be possible to produce platform-specific things, which is probably
and all
nice
them will
addition.
be packed into one package, right? And pre-installed .NET on your machine will select the correct one when you run the .NET install the command. Right?
Should be. Otherwise, it would be a nightmare to distribute it across NuGet.
Yeah.
It will be kind of 6 NuGets, different platforms.
This one, I think, is nice. Because I think each time when I had to use .NET Tool, I always had some troubles because of the outdated versions, something didn't work, and etc. And I think this is just a nice improvement to this .NET Tool ecosystem. So instead of installing it, you can just execute it. And yeah, so the tool will be just automatically downloaded, my understanding. It will automatically download it and run without the install. And you can run the tool from a specific folder. You can install it to specific folder. That's how I understand it. And that will just simplify interactions with this .NET Tool ecosystem. That's my understanding.
Very, very similar to NPX from Node.js ecosystem.
Okay. And then we also got DNX. So sounds similar, right?
It's just a script which is kind of. You don't need to type every time .NET Tool exec. You just need to call the script DNX that it will retarget all your arguments into .NET CLI inside it.
Basically, it's a simplified version of .NET Tool exec, right?
Yes.
Okay. What else?
Interesting fact is that, if I remember correctly, originally the .NET team wanted to call .NET instead of .NET Core 1, they wanted to call it DNX.
So you also you do remember that. So I have the same memories. Yeah, that's why I was surprised to hear this abbreviation one more time, because I thought, I mean that they left that 10 years back in 10 years ago when they considered to use it as a tool name instead of .NET. They wanted to name it DNX, or there was also something DNVM, DNX, something like that, right? So that was not a hallucination. So I am not hallucinating. Okay.
Looks like someone from Microsoft team really want to use this abbreviation. And finally, found a place.
It's so cool.
Where...
Sounds similar to Postgres team, because they introduced one term for object storage for JSON called I don't remember how it's called exactly, but they just introduced it in the sake of introduction, and they figured out how to what it means because they think that it sounds great.
Yeah, because it sounds great. Okay. And we see also here a number of improvements for file-based applications. So in .NET 10, just a reminder, in .NET 10, we will get another capability to create .NET applications. So instead of using Visual Studio heavy solutions, we will be able to use just file-based applications. So all the application just could be put into just a single file, and you can run it as a script. You can make it an executable thing, and you can even have multiple files. You can have even like quite complicated structure and reference one to another through the different directories that are put right into the files. So you will not have to have a solution file anymore. I guess for Vim guys or for Notepad guys, it will be a great improvement for their workload, because it's hard to imagine how they are dealing with that with the solutions files today. That's not very easy, so it will be easier. Yeah, so this is an example how you can make just a CS file and an executable file. So you can use this shebang, right? So this is how this is called.
The Linux, yes.
It's in the C# will be like a perfect scripting language for Linux. That's like hard to believe that we are here in 2025.
How many
Because
automation can be implemented, not in a Python, but
yeah,
in the C#
or in
standard
Bash.
type language.
So you can use
Oh.
C# instead of Bash.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah. Right. So no C#, F#, Visual Basic things.
In ASP.NET Core, there are interesting point. It's first one, actually, automatic eviction from memory pool. It's kind of by design limitation of Keystyle web server, where it was able to kind of suffer from very short spike, and then it accumulated internal memory pool and never released it. And it took them almost 10 years to address that, because finally one of internal teams was pushing so hard for them. Probably it was app service team in Azure that they had to implement it.
So just to make sure that I understood it correctly, so if you had a spike in your ASP.NET Core application, Kestrel started consuming a lot of memory and never released, right? And
Yes,
always
yes.
kept. So after .NET 10, it will be able to release, and as a result, the memory consumption will decrease after the spike. Okay,
Yes.
that's important. That's important.
It was very rare case, but still very painful for some services.
Strange why it is a part of .NET 10 release, why not a fix of existing version.
Maybe the changes are significant, and
Yeah,
there
probably
could be
it's
some.
bar is higher than bar for backports.
Yeah. Okay, so nothing more to highlight here, right? So just polishing. A lot of Blazor changes, actually. A lot of Blazor changes we can see.
One interesting is passkey integration
Passkey,
for ASP.NET Core identity, but I'm not sure how widely spread ASP.NET Core identity in production projects. So.
Exactly, as a primary identity thing, authentication, authorization framework. Yeah, agree. So in most cases, we are just relying on third-party solutions, SSO providers. Yeah. Okay. What else we can say here about .NET 10? Well, not we actually, but Andrew Locke. So Andrew Locke is a famous author, and he has a really nice blog, and he's spending his time on exploring .NET 10 capabilities, and he has a number of articles already all about .NET 10, and his articles are really deep, I would say, and it's really worth to spend your time to check what he wrote here. So if you're, for example, interested in how the extension members are working, you can find this article, because extension members will be the largest C# feature added in .NET 10. Also, we can see here an article about this DNX tool and about, well, you've just mentioned this passkey. So he did an exploration of a passkey. And .NET single file apps were also explored by Andrew Locke. So really nice set of articles. This is probably my favorite author. Okay, let's move on. .NET Aspire. So there is a large update, .NET Aspire 9.4, and I really like what I see here because of this feature. It's command line. So yeah, how I understand it. So I didn't use Aspire in production, but how I understand it at least when I tried it, when you want to use it previously, before this release, when you wanted to use .NET Aspire, you had to stick to Visual Studio because that was the only way to run the Aspire project. Now they added command line interface, and you can add, configure the Aspire project, and you can run the Aspire project through the command line. Again, all these people who are using Vim for their .NET development, they should be happy about this change. So they are able now to run the create Aspire projects using smart templates, and they will be able to run the Aspire solution just using command line. Did I explain it correctly, guys?
Yes, but I don't think that it will be very
actively used?
Frequently used feature,
Okay.
because once you create a project, it can be done in Visual Studio. Okay, what's the purpose of it? CLI? You don't want to deploy to production, right?
Because the only IDE that you accept, it's Notepad or Vim or Nano.
Maybe.
Look at the command aspire publish. What will it do? I mean, is it possible to use the functionality which we discussed a couple of coffee ago, translate Aspire into Kubernetes format, something like this, and
It's
deploy
already
it?
doing that. It has some integrations with Kubernetes.
Right.
It translates your resources to Kubernetes, but I don't think it's compatible with most of Kubernetes-based deployments pipelines out there in the wild.
Yeah.
It's very opinionated, and it's like deploying from Visual Studio to production through right-click. Nice feature. It's used in production, but
I was always surprised that how Microsoft pushed this Visual Studio integrations and this right-click publish. Nobody does that in production. Why they're investing so much time to exploring people how to publish your Azure functions from Visual Studio? That's silly to me.
Maybe they have a special person who is responsible for publishing everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 20 years ago, when there was no CI/CD culture, and they're still doing this. So publish everything through Visual Studio. Okay.
The most interesting feature which I see in this release is option to provide kind of user interactions to fill some data, passwords, settings before you start your application, and they can be very advanced, I'd say, in comparison with nothing that we had before.
This project is becoming more and more feature rich, and well, like when it was run, I had some doubts that it could become a day-to-day tool used by a lot of developers, but today I think, why not? So I would find it quite interesting and powerful for a local development.
Yeah, for local development, we use it on our project. I integrated it in
okay,
one
so you've
of our
already started
solutions
using it.
with
Okay, that's
3 services and a bunch of different dependencies. Like, it works fine as long as your dependencies are containerizable.
Yeah. But you can also run an executable, I guess, here.
Yeah, but like if it's not containerizable, it's not executable locally.
Yeah,
usually.
that's true. Usually you will have some troubles. Okay. All right. So our favorite ones, right? AI block. A lot of things here is happening. Like every day, new protocols are created, new frameworks on top of the AI capabilities appeared.
I think the most
So
significant one is not in the list, is yesterday release of GPT-5.
yeah, well, yeah, we didn't put it yet because probably we need some time to explore. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, so GPT-5 was released yesterday. It's not in the list. It's a large topic.
And it's already available for users of Visual Studio Code,
okay,
of Copilot.
really? Let me
You can
check.
use it. Because today was the released new version of Visual Studio Code with support for it, official support.
I'm going to check it right now. And what do I have in my agents list? It's not initialized yet. Okay, so it's not initialized yet. Once I get the list of models, I'll see if I have it. Okay, right. So let's see what we have from our news. So there was a couple weeks ago we had an event about MCP protocol, model context protocol, and we were shown how to build your own MCP server. And there was an event launched by Microsoft where there was a lot of conversations about MCP, and sessions were recorded, so you can watch. You can choose for your programming language and watch. So regarding the models, I can actually show it. So I still have only GPT 4.1. So it's not, at least it's not arrived for me. Yeah, so you can just reiterate through MCP servers creation might be useful if you're interested in that. Let's move on. So this one is interesting. I would find it interesting. It's about building agent-to-agent communication, and it's kind of yet another protocol, AI-based protocol. So what is it? It's about the way how you can implement the interaction. When one agent, it's kind of exposes its capabilities as a tool for another agent. So you can build a chain of interactions. And so this article is a generic information about that. And this article, it's about .NET implementation of agent-to-agent interaction. So you can build it using .NET. Again, so
I believe why they highlighted, for instance, the first article related to agent-to-agent communication, for MCP, because a lot of people misunderstood, MCP, because they try to use it like agent-to-agent protocol, but MCP is just protocol for providing additional context for LLM. So we are able to expose some tools that LLM can use for enrich the context with correct data, for instance, related to your project. But guys try to use it like agent-to-agent. And as far as I understand, MCP provided so kind of functionality because it was improved, but we need to understand that it's a little bit different than agent-to-agent communication rather than an MCP. Yeah.
So this is the kind of it fixes all these things that didn't work well with agent-to-agent, and so we have a SDK exposed for that for .NET. Okay, that's cool. So this one is small, but we actually put it to highlight that really Microsoft invests a lot into making .NET a first-class platform for all the AI interactions. And we have ADONET clients updates to support specific data types that you might need for your AI workloads.
interesting fact about this .NET driver update is that they finally addressed like many years old issue related to processing of big byte big byte payloads for async interactions. It was much more times faster for synchronous operations rather than asynchronous, which was counterintuitive for a lot of folks. It was a bit of failure. They had to rewrite their protocol, kind of SQL Server protocol processing to address this. Because originally driver was designed mostly like a synchronous one in comparison with Postgres driver, which was designed as asynchronous first.
Okay, interesting. Right. This one, I really love this article. Well, actually, it's not about the article itself, but about the repository that is referenced in it. The repository name is Awesome GitHub Copilot Customizations. So if you open this repository, you will see that actually it provides you a set of kind of instructions for your Copilot depending on your application type. So for example, you are doing ASP.NET Core REST API development. And if you remember when we did this vibe coding session, so we had UI, we had ASP.NET Core REST API, and each time we had to explain how the Copilot should generate the code specifically to the framework. So what you can do, you can actually put special instructions files. They're just MD files. And it's, how I understand that, it's a context, just a context that is provided to LLM each time, well, not each time, but when you make an interactions with the LLM, there will be a set of instructions, additional instructions that should be taken into consideration by LLM, and the LLM should adapt the generated code according to the instructions.
Interesting fact is that...
Did I explain it correctly?
Yes, it's correct.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And it's highly used across Microsoft own repos in ASP.NET Core, Runtime, EF Core, MAUI, Aspire, all those repos. Its instructions are different. Some are very basic. It seems like it depends on what developer actually introduced them. But the interesting fact is that just yesterday GitHub announced that now you can ask Copilot to generate instructions for your repository to be used for Copilot interactions later on.
Okay. Yeah. So what else do we have here? It's a kind of collection of reusable prompts. Also might be useful for you. Yeah. So you can.
We plan to adopt it on our projects as well, on our repos.
Okay. So it will be interesting
at some point
see what
later on I will share.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely need to share the results, even if they are not very pleasant. Please share. We need to know the reality, because
hopefully
it's
they will be,
so
otherwise
exciting.
we will wipe it out.
Yeah. Okay. And like you can press on the button, install VS Code install. It does nothing more than just downloads the file to your directory. So, okay, so very useful project. Definitely worth to investigate it. And a very similar article. It's just 5 chat prompts for .NET devs. They're like obvious, but
it's strange for me. You know, it's strange that we have some kind of article in the blogs.
Yeah. This one is interesting. Why it is interesting? Because it adapts .NET 10 single file project capabilities, and also it shows how you can use local models, small local models, and small local models plus C# scripting from .NET 10 to build really simple, fast applications to solve very specific problems. For example, in this article, with the help of Ollama LLM and single file scripts, the author achieved text generation by the picture. So sometimes you need to like put some description for the picture, and you can easily do that through this script. Well, yeah, obviously not a very wide, not a lot of people really need this, but it's just an example how you can easily adapt these local models for solving like day-to-day life problems. Just a nice example of that.
It's like, adoption, the same examples to new features that was presented, for C#. For instance, here, like single file scripting for C#. So we are able to run and some interaction with LLM. So here we can place any interaction. For instance, now we are using Olama as example, yes, as a provider, I would say like provider, local provider for hosting LLM. And here we have multimodal Gemma 3 LLM. But in this way, you are able to use OpenAI, Azure AI service with communication.
It's so simple. It's so
yeah.
simple, right? Like you don't need to be like a scientist to do some LLM things locally. So it's just as simple as it is. So
yeah,
cool.
Microsoft tries to improve, capability and some features related to AI in .NET. It's related to some vector primitive, etc. So maybe they would like to be so famous as Python, yes, for AI.
Okay. And the last one, it's a community article on Reddit. Okay, sorry. I probably need to turn off the VPN because for some reason Reddit doesn't allow me to enter to the website under the VPN. And for some reason Global Protect is not disconnecting me. 1 sec. Okay, so I'm disconnected. Should be fine now. So, who is this person? Do we know him? Grigorich?
As far as I understand, this is one of developers of WSL team.
Okay.
And he shares a lot of useful articles, insights, instructions, details on how to deal with WSL, how to configure it, how to do some advanced stuff, how to fix some commonly known issues, etc. And yeah, he posts it on Reddit, and he collected all of his posts to share with folks in one place, which is very nice, I think, because WSL is thing that if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, good luck making it work. You will try to use all possible solutions from old GitHub issues, discussions, Stack Overflow, and probably it will help you, but there is a chance that it will not work until you start your PC.
Yeah,
and actually, it's not the last. I think one more. I posted link in the chat, which we can briefly touch. If you could open this link, it would be nice.
Okay, 1 sec. It's a YouTube link, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
recently there was. Huh?
No, I mean I really like this those posts about WSL because usually it's kind of hard to troubleshoot it when something goes wrong, and I really love Visual Studio WSL. I really love WSL, and if you want to configure it, you want to know it internal, so definitely it's just essential post, and the articles are very valuable. So
open it on a full screen.
What do we see here? Please explain us.
There's a recording from Visual Studio Live conference, which they conducted in Redmond about a week ago, and on this conference they kind of shared a teaser of Visual Studio VNext, because currently they're actively working on it. They stopped producing preview versions of Visual Studio for next version. There is no kind of preview versions. They're mostly kind of preview version for next patch of current version. And next version will be version 18. Currently it's 17. They don't know the exact name for it yet, but you can see preview of UI, how it will look like.
It's so similar to what we had in 2010s. You know.
And like from this presentation, you can check it in more details later on, but on the highlights, they shared feedback from some early adopters, and feedback is that, yeah, it's very fast, very smooth, nice to use, etc. In the presentation, they stressed that they fixed a lot of paper cuts, like small issues that kind of previously were not worth to fix it alone, but there was so many of them that they decided to start addressing them, and they were working on addressing them very hard for last year, and a lot of these fixes will go into Visual Studio V next. As far as I understand, they just used current version as a platform and didn't do any breaking changes because all existing extensions will continue working just fine according to them. UI will be different, but it is very similar to preview options that you can enable already in Visual Studio. It will look very similar, and and seems like they invested in a lot in tight integration between Copilot Chat and Visual Studio infrastructure itself. Like it will get more, like it will have access to your kind of solution structure as a structure, as a tree, not just as a bunch of text files. And I think it might change a lot.
Yeah.
But let's see. And in this presentation, they've shown how they like how it can be used with Copilot Chat, and they asked Copilot to kind of improve performance of one of open source libraries and run benchmarks on itself, analyze, rerun, refix, etc. It's worth watching, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. The only thing that I don't like on this picture is this tab, because it's placed incorrectly. All the tabs should be placed.
For me, it looks nice, vertically, especially because they removed a bunch of old unusable icons that are like dozens of them.
Very old. Yeah, I understand what you
used.
mean. I never pressed on
just
like
garbage,
maybe half of the. Well, I never press on any buttons in Visual Studio. I think we do not need any of those buttons except maybe those errors. The rest are useless. But yeah, okay.
They started to use this island design, like every area to kind of separate island with its own border. Noticed it. And I, few probably weeks ago, noticed that Rider in the preview version also started to support this kind of UI. So this called also kind of island style or something like this. So to be similar with Visual Studio. Smells like a copy paste.
All right, yeah, so nicely looking Visual Studio. We like it. And let's see what we will get finally. So I guess that's it. We've covered all the topics that we had for today. So I wish you then a good luck and have a great rest of your day, and hope you enjoy.